All right, Matt Gouge, Get Better Everyday podcast. I've got Daniel Den on today. We're going to be talking about marketing, ways to be creative in marketing. I think that anybody who's listening to this podcast in 2024, no matter what business you're in, if you don't have some portion of your time, energy, and focus dedicated to marketing, you're probably doing it wrong, because I can't think of a single business that doesn't need good and innovative marketing. So thanks for joining, Daniel.
Whoa, Matt Gouge, thank you so much. And we were just talking about, our kids and everything. We're almost like the same age. And I'll tell you what, Matt, the Get Better Everyday podcast, huge fan. I like listened to multiple episodes and I was like, man, if I wasn't like in love with marketing and wanted to just always talk about marketing every day, like this is the type of podcast that I would like to start. And you talked about how it was like a passion project at first. And I think because you like just genuinely wanted to help people get better every day through the podcast and through your message, I think that's why it's sticking. Like people can feel like you're genuinely trying to help people. And so congratulations. I absolutely love the Get Better Everyday podcast.
Thanks, man. I appreciate those kind words. Yeah, and that's exactly what it was, just a passion project, and like someone who's been on this journey for about a decade of self-improvement and whatnot. I'm like, man, this stuff is powerful. If I can, nudge somebody else, wherever you're at on the path of getting better every day, you're just getting started. Your life's a complete mess and you're trying to change directions, get better every day. Hopefully, something in the podcast resonates with you. If you've already seen success, you know what that looks like. Maybe this gives you an extra little nudge, for the next level. But yeah, for sure, a passion project. And like, I can't think of anything, Daniel, that excites me more than hearing stories of people winning. And so maybe that's where we start the pod, and with your marketing background and kind of what you've created, maybe share with us first. I guess we got to hear who the heck you are, and what you're up to, but then I also want to hear a win. I want to hear a story that's going to excite me about somebody winning with marketing.
Nice. Yeah, let's get better every day today with a little bit with our marketing, right? Even if it's 1% each day for a little while. But yeah, thank you so much, Matt. So long story short, about 12 years ago, I started getting really good at internet marketing specifically. And I got to the point where like I was like what would be known as a super affiliate. And then I wanted to do something more with my life. And I know you can relate to that because you've done really well with real estate, and like we're looking for like fulfillment in our lives, and that's one of the reasons why you started the podcast, because it's like, what's the next thing where I can be like impactful, right? So I was getting pretty successful with the internet marketing, but like my days, like Matt, like 12 years ago, like I would wake up in my pajamas and I would wake up late, like, and I have kids, right? I'm waking up at like 9 a.m. and I'm just like rolling out of bed and like checking numbers all day. Because if you know anything about affiliate marketing, once you have like your websites and your traffic set up, it's a lot of monitoring. Like you're making sure like stuff doesn't break, and you're like paying for traffic, and making sure the traffic just continues to convert. And so I needed a little bit more fulfillment in my life, other than, I had fulfillment through my wife and kids, but I felt like I should have a bigger impact through my professional career. And I knew I loved marketing and sales. And I met up with my business partner in Brazil, and it was a blue ocean down in Brazil. I mean, we had this insider knowledge that nobody was talking about. And my business partner, Pedro Superti, and I down in Brazil, we started to craft what we call this X Factor effect methodology. And over the past 12 years, we were able to help over 20,000 students and clients with the X Factor effect methodology. That's a big win right there. Another big win with everything, I would say, is we grew our following in the Brazilian market to about 2 million people across our social media channels. And then our biggest event that we did for our students was for 7,400 people. And it
Wow.
was all based off of this concept of the X factor effect.
All right, sweet. Well, you've set it up nicely. Now we all got to know, what is the X factor effect? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Thank you. The X factor effect methodology, it's all about doing things different so that we can break through the noise in our market. So if you're in real estate or in mortgages, or if whatever business you own, as you know, it's really hard to make noise in 2024. So there's a recent Forbes article that says that we're all exposed to about 4 to 10,000 different marketing pieces every single day. So marketing pieces, advertising things vying for our attention, 4 to 10,000 things like trying to get our attention. And so the question is, how can you be that one thing today? Because normally we only have enough RAM in our minds to remember one impactful thing today. So I want to be in my business, I want to be that one impactful thing for my dream customers. And so the question is, how do we do that? And with the X factor effect methodology, there's 9 different pillars that we cover, 9 different ways that teach people how to be different in a way that breaks through the noise in their markets.
Yeah, I mean that's well said, and I know I can definitely relate. Right, as a mortgage loan originator, and from 2014 to 2024, I've spent 10 years marketing myself, because for anybody who doesn't know, mortgage, real estate, a lot of these 100% commission jobs are like, you only get paid if you go out there and close business. So if you're not going to promote yourself, I don't know who you expect to promote, you for you. So you've got to do self-promotion, in my opinion. And I was laughing in my head as you were talking about standing out, because maybe at one time or another, I'm guilty of this. And I know there's others that are as well. The loan limits go up. And if you look across social, you see 4,500 loan originators saying, well, this year in 2018, the new conforming loan limit is 647. That's the most boring thing of all time. And if it's done 4,500 times, nobody cares. Nobody's going to stop their scrolling. That's a crazy stat, 4 to 10,000 pieces of content, but I believe it. And I know that as a consumer of content, that's one thing that I try to stay cognizant of in my business. If I'm consuming content, is this something that's going to attract my attention? Because if it's not, why would I expect it to attract anyone else's attention? And so what are some examples of some things that, I've heard a bunch of different terms in marketing, but a scroll stopper, right? I'm scrolling whatever social media flavor that people prefer to scroll on, whether it's TikTok or Instagram. How do you get somebody to stop? How do you get, to earn that piece of attention, which is what we're all in the business of doing, right? Is gaining some more attention.
Well, there's a great point. There's a great book all about stopping the scroll. I did not set out to reinvent stopping the scroll. Stopping the scroll, you have people say 3 seconds. I think that's closer to 1.5 seconds in 2024.
Probably.
It is a really short window. When it comes to stopping the scroll, I mean, we can't avoid talking about the fact that, hey, it all starts with your dream customer. What is it that what is your dream customer going to stop the scroll for? And this goes super deep. We try to get our customers, of our all of our products, people that read our books, and then our private clients, to get to the point where they're basically mind readers. And so if Matt Gouge is my dream customer, I not only want to know what all of his pain points are and his desires are, but I want to go even deeper. I want to go into psychographics. I want to know what his beliefs are, religious views. I want to know what his favorite bands are, and what his favorite brands are. And we want to get so deeply embedded into the minds of our dream customer that we can be that one thing today that catches their attention. Now, when it comes to the hook, a hook is just a hook. And so what we talk about in Ideas That Influence, and we'll talk about the book, my book here in a second, but we go even deeper than like those first 3 seconds. Yes, we have to hook you. Yes, we have to, use the right type of images. There's little tips and tricks, and you'll learn about it here and there, like circles attract more attention than triangles, and or different color, like red is obviously a lot more attention grabbing than gray. And then so there's tactically like how we're going to stop the scroll and uh grab the attention of our dream customers. And then we actually go much more strategic inside of Ideas That Influence. We've discovered 7 main elements for highly successful marketing messages that are different, that break through the noise. Now, going back to the X factor effect and doing things differently, what we talk about in Ideas That Influence, Matt, is that one of those things that is most likely to stop the scroll is something that has an X factor, is something that's different. So when you were talking about the mortgage example and, statistics that 5,000 other agents are sharing, yes, anything new and different is going to stand out amongst that clutter of the sea of sameness, right? And that's why one of the 7 elements that we talk about in Ideas That Influence is actually you want to have with your dream marketing message, your winning marketing message that breaks through the noise, you want it to have an X factor, something different, but different in a way that your dream customers love, that catches their attention.
Yeah. And like, this is only going to be something that the people who are watching on YouTube get to enjoy. But like, you talk about being different. When I got this box in the mail and I'm like, Ideas That Influence, like interactive box experience. We got to talk about this because I'm an honest guy. And so I haven't been able to get in here, go through the workbook, read the book or anything. But like, you talk about stopping the scroll, like there's a light inside here, dude. Like you press a light, your Ideas That Influence light bulb moments. You got your book. You've got like this, which as a former guy who used to work in the poker industry, this is like a card holder for me for a game of poker. For others, it's just a coin, maybe. You've got a pad of paper, you got a pen, you got all kinds of cool stuff in here. You've even got like these packets where it's like a game with different envelopes, and you got to start part 1, part 2. Tell the listeners, and if you're lucky enough to kind of see what it looks like, what brought about this idea, and what exactly should I expect? Honestly, I'm curious of what to expect once I dive in.
Sure, of course, Matt. So with the book Ideas That Influence, where we talk about these 7 elements for breaking through the noise so that you can have these wildly successful marketing ideas, I had a problem because I was going to launch the book and I was like I was almost done with the editor. Like she's like, man, this is amazing. People are going to love it. And then I'm sitting in a mastermind in Mexico, and I'm sitting beside a few really good friends. One of those friends is, his name is Mark Stern, and then there's a couple, Ashley and Josh Latimer. And we were sitting around, and Ashley and Josh Latimer, they have this really cool product. I actually have it right here. It's called the Kid War Plan. It's like a entrepreneurial journal for kids. And they created it. It's like leather bound, and it's like super cool. And like it's different. Like it is different. It is desirable. And they say that when they have it in stock, because it's really hard for them to produce, because they age the pages and everything to make it look like super, like just stoic, I guess is a really good adjective for that. But they make it's like amazing. And when they have it in stock, they say it just flies off the shelves because it takes them a while to produce and then it just flies off the shelf. And I'm like, okay, all right. The Kid War Plan, the journal for kid entrepreneurs, it flies off the shelf. Why? Oh, because it's different. It breaks through the noise. It's everything that we teach. And then I'm talking to Mark, and Mark, he has this agency called the Custom Box Agency. And he's talking about how like people have like doubled their conversion rates when selling their challenges and their coaching programs because of these amazing boxes that he's helped them put it together. And I'm like, yeah, like boxes and like experiences, it like can double conversion rates. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, I got this book and everything we teach is the X Factor effect. Am I really going to launch my book just like everybody else? Am I going to put my heart and soul into this book for more than a year and just throw it on Amazon like everybody else? Or am I going to practice what we preach and do something different, but not just different for the sake of being different, different in a way that our dream customers are going to absolutely love? And then I was like, I have to do a box experience. It has to be the first ever. And I kid you not, this, if you go to bigideasbox.com, this is the first ever free plus shipping interactive book box experience. Nothing like it exists. When people get it, they say, I've never seen anything like this. It's because nothing like it exists. And not only are they saying they've never seen anything like it, they're saying, and it is absolutely incredible. Like, this is so cool. And so what I did was with my editor, I said, hey, we're almost done editing. I'm going to make a few alterations at the end of some of the chapters where I'm going to point people to different envelopes inside of this box experience. And so that they can take what they learn at certain sections in the book and then open up an envelope and have access to tools and gifts and really cool things that are going to help them apply what they just learned in those chapters. And she was like, this is incredible. This is absolutely amazing. People are going to love it. And then, of course, before investing all this money, I asked people, I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. What do you think? And the feedback from my dream customers, so I basically did an ask campaign, was, wow, like, I've never heard of anything like that. I want one. Like, I don't know what it even looks like yet, but I want one. And that's all I needed, the faith I needed to go and say, this is an X factor. This is something different that my dream customers will love. So I moved forward with faith, launched it, and the result so far is that from the buyers, Matt, 1 out of every 3 people that buy the box from me post about it on social media without me asking them to, which is absolutely incredible. If you're trying to break through the noise and 1 out of 3 people are talking about, posting about your product on social media without you asking them to, in 2024, that is just absolutely incredible.
That is a huge, huge win, man. Yeah, I think that like it's incredible. To your point, like when I got it, I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. And you know, all the envelopes and whatnot. I literally have had it sitting in my office on a shelf where I'm like, once I start, I'm probably not going to stop. So I gotta carve some time where I can get into it. I've been rocking the mug. I can tell you that the mug's got some use, but the book I'm gonna crack into here shortly. And so, man, that's really cool to hear. And I like the fact that it's an example of what you preach, right? Because you know when a business operates in a way, like I think it was Alex Hormozy that talked about like he ran all the same promotions and did all the same marketing for an event of his, like he taught other businesses to do, where he's like, I'm not just going to tell you that this works. I'm going to show you that this works. And so you're telling people, you know, like ideas that are different work. And I'm going to show you an example of that by launching this book in a different way. So that's awesome, man.
That was the goal. And when I told myself, like, what am I doing? Like, really, am I going to launch a book like everybody else for the X Factor effect, guys? I was like, oh, dang it. now, and I asked Josh, I said, hey, Josh, what do you think if I do this? He said, do you believe it will double conversion rates? And I'm like, in my mind, I'm just like, yeah, like, how would it not double conversion rates? He's like, then you have to do it. I'm like,
Yeah.
God dang it. Like, I just caused a whole lot of extra work for myself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm excited to jump off and get into it. And I know, I want to respect your time. Any parting words, any advice for the Get Better Every Day listener who I'm sure is like, regardless of if you're selling soap or if you're, running a yogurt shop, anything you're doing, like you've got to get people's attention to draw people to buy your product, come to your store, invest in your program, like sign up for the gym membership, whatever it is, right? Like marketing matters more than it ever has, in my opinion. And it's only becoming more and more important in a more, 10,000 plus ads a day. I'm never going to forget
Yeah.
that, dude. Like whenever I do anything, I'm going to like ask myself that internal question. Is this going to stand out in a sea of 10,000 ads today? And if it's not, you probably got to think twice about posting it. What advice would you give the listener on small little things maybe they can implement? Because like you
Yeah.
said, 1% better every day. We're only trying to get a little bit better. We're not going to get 50% better overnight. What's a couple small pieces of advice that'll move the needle a little bit on the marketing side?
100%. So when it comes to your marketing message, basically, so in Ideas That Influence, we cover 7 elements. And what we've noticed, Matt, is that if you actually have all 7 of these elements in your marketing message, your marketing will work. Like, we haven't ever seen it not work if you have all 7 of these elements. So the question ends up being just, well, how well is this going to break through the noise? So if you want to like pretty much guarantee that it's going to break through the noise, we talked about having an X factor. And I'll quickly just list as a closing remark the last 6 elements. So these are writer downers. If you have these 7 elements, like your marketing message, at least in my mind, is guaranteed to break through the noise. Like, we've never seen it not break through the noise. 1, it needs to be focused. Now, that makes sense because we're all exposed to 4 to 10,000 different marketing messages every single day. So for yours to break through the noise, it's got to be focused. So talk about one big thing. Don't fall into the trap of trying to talk about 2 big things or 3 big things. Quick example of that, sometimes when people sell like a weight loss program, they'll be like, oh, it's paleo and it's low carb. And here's all the reasons why paleo is so important and why low carb is so important. And here's the reason why, it needs to be high protein as well. And then they'll try to sell you like all these really big ideas, when if they just like focused on the fact that it's paleo, then that's a more focused message, right?
Yep.
So focused. Second, your message, it has to put your audience center stage. So if you're talking to real estate agents and mortgage brokers, put that marketing message out there and make it all about them. You hear it all the time, Matt. Don't just end up talking about yourself because people get drowned out, right? Like it gets caught up in the noise if you just end up talking about yourself. But if I talk about you, then we are going to win. Okay. Third element actually is the X factor. We talked about that. The 4th and 5th elements is that it evokes emotion and that it shares a story. Now, here's a cool tip. When I share a story, if I share a story about me that is relevant to you, then it's a good story. Sometimes we think we can't tell personal stories because it's talking about ourselves, quote unquote. But if I tell a story that shares an aha moment that's relevant to you, then it's a winning story. It's a story that your dream audience will resonate with. So go ahead and share those personal stories as long as it's going to affect your audience in a positive way. The last 2 elements is you want something that's sticky and shareable. So sticky works, first 3 seconds, right? Sticky images, sticky concepts. Sticky can also come down to like things that are rhyming, like, oh, like that jingle got caught in my, it got stuck in my mind. You know, mommy, wow, I'm a big kid now. I'm never gonna forget it. Huggies, you got me forever. I'm never gonna forget it. All right. And then the last element is if it can provide an aha moment, which hopefully today, everyone listening today, because we're trying to get better every single day. Hopefully today you're getting better once again through Matt Gouge's amazing podcast, because you took away at least one aha moment. And those aha moments, when we can provide those inside of our marketing, they provide what I call mini paradigm shifts. So an aha moment is like, oh, now I understand the world in a slightly better way, or I understand it better to me. And because I understand it better, I'm going to take that lesson that I just learned and I'm going to run with it. I'm going to take action because of that mini paradigm shift that I just had because of that aha moment. So those are the 7 elements. Focused on a single message, putting the audience center stage, has an X factor effect, evokes emotion, shares a story, is sticky and shareable, and provides an aha moment. If you can hit all 7 of those with your marketing message, you've won. You're gonna break through the noise. You're
All
gonna
right.
break through the
I got
noise.
my list. I wrote them down, brother. So I'm gonna see what I can do with hitting all 7 of those. I think that was really good way to cap this thing off. I learned a lot today. Had some aha moments. I think the aha for me, quite honestly, today was 10,000 piece of content, because we don't realize it. We don't realize how much we're exposed to, and so we got to break through. So bigideasbox.com. Where else can people find you? Where else can people follow Daniel Den and all the cool stuff you're doing?
Yeah, for my English channels, because we've talked about, you know, Brazil and everything. So I'm at Daniel Den, DEN official. So if you want to follow me on socials, it's at Daniel Den official. And so that, but yeah, lots of people, our first introduction, getting the relationship going is by grabbing the free box. You just pay the shipping and handling, and I know you're going to absolutely love it. So yeah, bigideasbox.com.
I can't wait to dig in. Thanks again for your time, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Matt.